My work, the fence line, is a work that's come from a deep place. I want to talk to you about three things today. Those three things are the concept, the curatorial brief, and the arranging of the works, which is also curatorial. So first up, the brief. I really didn't have a big problem working with the brief because I've been working in the area of alternative textiles for 20 odd years now. So wire was my first choice. Of course, those of you that know my work will know that I predominantly work with wire. And so for me, the challenge was to actually work with refining my processes and concentrating on the message that I wanted to say. So answering the brief, we were talking about, well, the brief asked us to use only three techniques and whatever your textile material was. So I chose to use weaving, twining and plying. You can see those processes are all in this work. The substrate is woven, so it's actually a fence. So referring back to the title, the fence line, it's a fence from our farm. We re-fence the farm, so that's where that come from. And it's part of the materials that I use when I'm doing identity type works. I look back through my back catalogue and only realised this about yesterday when I was thinking about what I was going to say to you people. And I was like, oh, all my identity work, yeah, okay. So that's something new I've learnt. So thank you, WAFTA, for helping me refine my practice. What else? The methods. I wanted to stretch the brief in what a textile was and what it was defined as. So the very bare minimum that a textile is a line of thread and it's applied line of thread. So I wanted to see if that would fit. And I'm, skirting along the edges of textiles here and what all that means. And we all know we've come from this heritage of the handmade and hand-me-down and hand-down skills through the generations. And this is my, re-emergence of that. So, my expression of that. So on to the concept. This work came about because there's quite a few trees being taken out in the wheat belt over the last, my lifetime. I've seen so many trees be taken out, and it's due to GPS farming. So GPS farming is like a satellite type steering thing that machines go in really, really straight rows in broadacre farming. So all the little remnant bush patches that were left from the initial clearing that were trees that were massive, that were too big to clear, which now become hollows for our birds and things like that when they do die. But all of those trees and small areas of bush along fence lines where there's rocky patches and things like that are being cleared now so that we can make these wonderful straight lines in the paddocks. So I'm seeing this continual pulling down of trees, and also along the roadsides with the main roads and our safety awareness of we all drive too fast and hit trees. So we've got to take every tree out for 45 metres on each side of the road. So that's where this work stems from. And a particular gentleman farmer around our town has bought up thousands and thousands of acres, but alongside the roadsides he's begun spraying these road verges so that there's no radish or weeds that will get into his crop. So it's from an economic standpoint that he's doing this, and like everybody gets that. But these trees are dying because he's spraying the undergrowth, and then the trees actually die as well. They lose the ecosystem and the trees die. So then the trees have gone, so he pushes, well, they don't even go, he'll push them down and put up a new fence, and it's clean, dead clean slate. It's like, it's not quite, doesn't sit sit very well in the landscape, doesn't sit very well in my mind. So that's what this work's about. Some of the things I use to actually convey that are the very bare nature of what's underneath the trees, the bare nature of what they look like, they're dead. I mean, I grew up in granite country. A lot of trees out that way, are quite long and sticky, and, there's a number of lakes south of where I grew up, and lots of trees in the lakes around Narrogin and stuff like that. So these stick trees are embedded in my psyche. They're from my childhood, and they will forever be with me. So that's the form that it takes. And even here, this is a bit that's on purpose because I wanted you to see that this was a roadside tree, and that those people and machines go down the roads and they actually prune all those branches off, with main roads and, things that happen like that. So there are lots of small things in this work. I was also playing with art conventions when you look back through art history and the gilded frames, and also the nameplates on all those really early Australian works. So, here we have a traditional landscape, and so I wanted the nameplate to be centre and front, and I want it to be hard-hitting and straightforward and in your face. And that's why there's no shadows on the work. So thinking about shadows are, the end of the day, that romantic, end of the day with a lovely sun and golden glow. That's not what this work's about. It's a very succinct, hard work, and it needed to have that really hard light on it to actually bring all of that. Everything is in the work for a reason, even down to the signing of the work. A lot of you will know I don't sign my work very often. This is probably only the second or third piece that I've actually ever signed. So bad, not very good for an artist, but that goes back to those painting conventions and the view of the landscape that was painted back in the day, and what we all know as a landscape, traditional landscape. So, and it's looking at history, and that this is what we're doing. And that sort of leads me into, I guess, the curatorial overview. It's really interesting when a curator sets up an awareness of works when they relate to each other. And you'll notice that my work, which is about clearing the land and the loss of trees, sits directly opposite Jane's beautiful work, which is the product of that and the recording of history. So the sum of these two works is greater than their individual components, and I think that that was a really good curatorial decision to actually set that up. And so thank you to WAFTA, Holmes Court, and everyone that participated. Great, thank you.